Uchiha Madara. It took a while for Kader to react and understand what the communication soldier was saying. His face instantly turned pale, and he hurriedly ran out of the cabin. Sure enough, he immediately saw that man standing on top of a giant, as if he were a god. Uchiha Ban. Kader felt his legs trembling. This is not a character that can be compared to someone like Doflamingo. Killing celestial dragons, defeating 5 admirals, leaving proudly without anyone daring to stop him. But why is he here to find me? What are you doing here? Kader trembled, trying to draw his sword but couldn't. Isn't this the ship that delivers things to celestial dragons? Uchiha Madara chuckled lightly. And you're asking me what I'm doing here? Yes, in everyone's understanding, Uchiha Ban has a great grudge against celestial dragons. Didn't you see the title Marine gave Uchiha Madara? Isn't he the Avenger? He attacked the escort ship that was delivering money to celestial dragons. What's the problem? There's absolutely no problem. Kader's body trembled. If he hadn't known that he would be killed by celestial dragons even if he ran back to Marine after losing the golden ball in the sky, he might have abandoned the ship and fled. And now? Damn Saitama, it's all your fault. Kader cursed in his heart. Weren't you shouting to chase and kill Uchiha Madara? Now that he's here, where are you? You useless piece of trash. What use are you? He cursed fiercely in his heart, but it didn't solve any problems. Fighting, it's probably impossible to win, so let's just try to intimidate him with a show of force. Maybe there's still hope. Hey, Uchiha Madara. Kader put on a fierce look and shouted, you finally came. Meeting you here is your doomsday. Let the rear admiral who just dealt with the Don Quixote family take care of you. The Don Quixote family is quite famous, even in the New World. Their power is enough to dominate a region. And because of Doflamingo's superb methods, their underground influence spreads throughout the Grand Line. Even newcomers who have just entered the New World know their reputation to some extent. With his strength of capturing the Don Quixote family, he might be able to avoid fighting Uchiha Madara. However, when he said this, he found that Uchiha Madara's expression suddenly became strange. After a long change in expression, he finally uttered a sigh. You're quite interesting. Then, the sharp sword of the complete body Susanoo suddenly slashed out. In an instant, it cut through the entire ship. The power of the complete body Susanoo was terrifying. The battle was almost over in an instant. Huh? You're really lucky. Uchiha Madara was stunned when he saw the shockwave he had cut out, now floating in a remote corner of the sea. Then, in an instant, he appeared next to Kader. You. Kader's face was filled with fear. Could it be that he won't spare him? The next second, his pupils dilated, showing an expression of disbelief. Although this behavior doesn't quite fit Uchiha Madara's character, but I couldn't help but watch your performance. The first half of the sentence was filled with towering arrogance. But the next second, his words became lazy and dumbfounded. Because it wasn't just the words that changed, but Saitama. Kader almost exclaimed. What did he see? Uchiha Madara, radiating haki, suddenly transformed into the dumb and cute Saitama right in front of him? Saitama, who was responsible for chasing and killing Uchiha Madara. In other words, Marine is really a huge joke. No, not just Marine, but himself. He actually used Saitama's achievements to intimidate himself? In Kader's eyes, there was a hint of fear. He subconsciously wanted to shout out this information, to let the surviving soldiers spread this news to naval headquarters. But the next second, his throat was pierced by Uchiha Madara's sword, and he couldn't make a sound. At the same time, in this remote corner where he was stranded, no one would see him. And there would be no soldiers left alive. The battle ended, and it was a battle without suspense. Xiao Shu's actions were steady. Even though Saitama's face was exposed along the way, he only acted after confirming with Uchiha Madara's perception that there was no one around who saw him. Then, he killed all the soldiers just in case, ensuring that there were no loose ends. Then he began the salvage work. The golden treasures truly lived up to being wealth specifically meant for celestial dragons. Gold, silver, jewelry, gemstones. Countless treasures were piled up in the cabin, and every single one of them was a top-quality item. And his most important target. Xiao Shu looked at the several fruits with unique patterns in the box and a hint of excitement flashed in his eyes. System, absorb. Host, Xiao Shu. Character templates. 1. Uchiha Madara, 72%. 2. Saitama, 63%. This time, there are a total of 13 devil fruits in the sky gold. bringing a 6% increase to Xiao Shu's power. It can be said that his strength has once again soared. Unfortunately, whether it's Saitama or Uchiha Madara, it's already difficult to further improve at this level. Xiao Shu sighed in his heart, but this is also a happy trouble. With Saitama's increasing abilities, his strength has already vaguely touched Saitama's original power. It should be noted that the original Saitama easily annihilated the cosmic overlord Boros, who was capable of destroying the Earth, without using his full power. There aren't many devil fruits in the Sky Gold, at least not matching its reputation. Because the essence of the Sky Gold is tribute, and devil fruits, unless they are ordinary abilities, can be sold at prices far exceeding the market value. Although there aren't many devil fruits, there is plenty of other wealth. Pearls the size of fists, diamonds as numerous as sand, and gold coins everywhere. Xiao Shu didn't hesitate and directly took out a long scroll, collecting everything into it. The storage scroll is a specialty of the Hokage world, capable of sealing items inside. As a top expert in the Hokage world, Uchiha Madara may not be a grandmaster, but he can still make these things. It's fortunate that he can make these storage scrolls, otherwise, Xiao Shu wouldn't know how to take away all the wealth here. I don't know how much wealth is here, but there must be at least 5 billion, right? A smile appeared on Xiao Shu's lips. There are already 13 devil fruits alone, with a minimum market value of 1.3 billion, not to mention the others. 5 billion represents 50 devil fruits, the minimum level of power. If they are all absorbed into the system, Uchiha Madara and Saitama would probably reach their peak period. After all, the peak period is only 80% of the realistic level. Going beyond that would be surpassing the peak period. So, Saitama is almost there too. It's time to change identities. Xiao Shu narrowed his eyes. Considering the explosive nature of battles, the chakra consumption of clones is very fast. So, on Saitama's side, he had already arranged more than a dozen clones early on. Wood-style clones can be maintained for a long time as long as they don't engage in combat. A dozen clones are enough for a considerable period of time. After all, there aren't many people who can force clones to fight at full power. As for Xiao Shu himself, he grabbed the storage scroll filled with wealth. Let's liquidate these things first. Liquidation is a necessary means of survival for pirates. After all, you can't let pirates spend the gold they plunder. They also need to use belly in their daily lives. There are more and more pirates in the Grand Line, and finding better ways to liquidate is also a kind of knowledge. Black market merchants collect loot from pirates at specific locations, and these specific locations often attract a large number of pirates. For example, the lawless area of Saboti Archipelago is one such location for liquidation. Unfortunately, due to Uchiha Madara's actions, the Marines swept through Saboti Archipelago, severely impacting the black market trade on the island. Even now, it has not recovered. So, Xiao Shu chose another island, Hannibal. This is a lively island, where most of the residents are retired pirates or descendants of pirates, making the island quite enthusiastic. There are even competitions specifically prepared for pirates. At the same time, as a gathering place for pirates, there are many black market merchants here who can help pirates liquidate their gains. This time, Xiao Shu used his own appearance. Uchiha Madara is not someone who can negotiate with merchants. As for Saitama, is he here to exterminate pirates? Of course, Xiao Shu is not very good at bargaining either, but he's still better than those two, right? Perhaps I should find someone who knows the ropes to help. Those black market merchants are used to lowballing prices, and I'm not familiar with these things. Xiao Shu narrowed his eyes. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed. A slender woman walked past Xiao Shu not far away. Her skin was slightly tan, draped in a long black robe that concealed her well-proportioned body. She lowered her head and hurriedly walked by, occasionally glancing back. Nico Robin, how is she here? In reality, Nico Robin is currently in the midst of fleeing. Or rather, this is her daily life. When Robin was young, her bounty reached a staggering 79 million berries, which is a terrifyingly high bounty for a child. It's not a problem to say that she was the child with the highest bounty. But Robin's strength? The flower fruit is not an especially powerful devil fruit. Her attacks rely solely on the arms she grows, and although they can catch opponents off guard, those arms are still her own. How much strength can a child's arms have? With low combat power and a high bounty, she encountered many people who tried to sell her to the Marines, and even pirates had this tendency. That's nearly 80 million in bounty. Don't be fooled by Xiao Shu robbing heavenly gold once and getting close to 5 billion. That's because of his strength and the fact that he was robbing heavenly gold. Normal pirates, if they can get a few million from a robbery, that's already pretty good. 80 million is enough to disband a pirate crew and retire. So over the years, Robin has been living a difficult life, constantly on the run, which has become her daily routine. Robin, where are you? Get the hell out here. A group of pirates wielding knives passed by, fierce and ruthless. In a dark corner, Robin pressed herself against the wall, hiding her body as much as possible in the darkness, only revealing her exquisite figure faintly. She tried to suppress her breathing, but her expression remained calm and composed, clearly accustomed to these days of hiding and seeking. Sigh. I have to change ships again. Although she shares some common language with pirates and bounty criminals like herself, her weak strength makes it difficult for her to create any benefits for pirate crews. And the reputation of being the devil's child is too loud. Once she is discovered on a ship, it will immediately attract the pursuit of the Marines. It seems that the captain of this pirate ship couldn't stand the influence of Robin and decided to hand her over for the bounty. Unfortunately, Robin discovered it in advance. What ship should I change to next? The person chasing me is Hurricane Dora with a bounty of 51 million. At least it has to be someone not much weaker than Hurricane Dora to dare to take me in. After pondering for a moment, Robin finally decided on the next candidate. Ranji Duo, with a bounty of 67 million. In Hanabaru, he is already considered one of the top strong fighters. As for the excuse for joining them, Robin had long prepared it. Ancient weapon. The location of the ancient weapon is recorded in the historical text, and only Robin can decipher it. And the rumored power of the ancient weapon has fascinated countless people. For pirates, it is even more fanatical. It conveniently allows Robin to lead them in pursuit of the historical text. Using this excuse, she successfully joined many pirate crews, such as the previous Hurricane Dora. Just as Robin had anticipated, with the ancient weapon as her calling card, she easily boarded Ranji Duo's ship. This news was not well hidden by her, so it was only natural that Hurricane Dora and his gang came knocking on the door. No problem, Hurricane Dora's bounty is lower than Lanjidoao's. Although my bounty is not low, it's not easy for pirates to get their bounty from the Marines. They will definitely be ripped off by middlemen. He won't fight Lanjidoao to the death for my sake. Robin stood behind Lanjidoao, secretly calculating in her eyes. Hurricane Dora was a slightly weak tall guy, while Lanjidoao was a short and strong man. Robin, is this the next target you've chosen? Hurricane Dora raised his head, a strange look flashing in his eyes. After all, Robin has information about the ancient weapon. It's normal for me to protect her, right? Lanjidoao's mouth curled up, his voice rough. Robin knew the location of the ancient weapon. This news was acknowledged by the world government, which is why such a high bounty was issued. However, Robin tensed up, her emotional intelligence was extremely high, and she felt that something was off about them. Why were pirates and pirates speaking so elegantly when they met? But her ancient weapon is a lie, Hurricane Dora sneered. I've protected her for so long, but I haven't even seen a hair of the ancient weapon. Is it really a lie? Lanjidoao turned his head and asked Robin. How is that possible? Robin's heart screamed that something was wrong, but her expression remained calm and indifferent. Hurricane Dora is a pirate. Can we trust a pirate's words? Of course we can. Lanjidoao suddenly grinned widely. After all, we are brothers. Robin's face changed drastically. Lanjidoao, Hurricane Dora. Their titles and names were so similar, why did she overlook this issue? He. Lanjidoao, Hurricane Dora grinned ferociously, getting closer and closer. Robin's forehead was covered in cold sweat. She was careless, really careless. Unfortunately, although Robin's bounty was much higher than theirs, her strength. Now the shore was filled with the subordinates of the two pirate crews, and the ship was close to the sea. Robin had nowhere to escape. Hey, big brother, since the Marines only want a live person, should we enjoy ourselves before handing her over to the Marines? Hurricane Dora looked at Robin's exquisite figure and smirked. Of course, but she is the devil's child with a bounty of nearly 80 million. Let's break her limbs first before playing with her. Lanjidoao also revealed a lustful look. Robin stepped back step by step, forced to lean against the edge of the cabin, her face changing continuously. But she had been a fugitive since she was young. She gritted her teeth and came up with a clever plan. Do you dare to lay a hand on me? Do you know that I have someone above me? Oh, who? Lanjidoao asks. Uchiha Madara, Robin said proudly. Xiao Shu, who was quietly lurking on the ship's deck above Robin. Miss, you're right. I am really above you. The strength of blood relatives is not necessarily connected. For example, Shanks and Buggy, who have similar backgrounds, have a huge difference in strength. However, most of the time, the blood relatives of the strong are often very strong. For example, among Big Mom's children, there are many powerful individuals. Although we have to consider that they are members of the Four Emperors, they are wealthy and almost everyone has the ability of a devil fruit, which is why they are so strong. But isn't this also because of Big Mom's influence? Uchiha Madara and Xiao Shu are blood relatives. Although no one has seen Xiao Shu in action, his strength may not be very strong, but he definitely won't be weak. After all, if his talent is lacking, his older brother can just steal a devil fruit for him to eat. Lan Ji Duo Ao and Zhu Feng Duo brothers naturally understand this principle, but when their subordinates charged forward, they still shouted. He's just Xiao Shu, not Uchiha Madara himself. Let's all attack and kill him. The lackeys didn't know if they truly believed it or if they were forcing themselves to believe it, but they all picked up their swords and charged forward, howling. Interesting. Xiao Shu revealed a smile and jumped down from the building. He was wearing loose, dark clothes and had a sword hanging from his waist. Xiao Shu's public identity is Uchiha Madara's younger brother, so naturally, he subconsciously imitated Uchiha Aizuna's appearance. Although he didn't need to imitate his personality, he could still dress similarly. Underneath his calm black clothes, there was a hint of arrogance as he looked at the ferocious pirates charging towards him. Robin's expression changed slightly. Although it is highly likely that blood relatives of strong individuals are also strong, it is not impossible for them to be weak. She had never heard of Xiao Shu engaging in combat before, could it be? But the next second, she stood there dumbfounded. In Xiao Shu's eyes, the Mangekyo Sharingan spun. Genjutsu. The pirates charging towards him all froze in their tracks, their expressions becoming extremely stiff. What's going on? What happened? Lan Ji Duo Ao and Zhu Feng Duo Law's faces changed drastically. Uchiha's Genjutsu? Robin knew a bit more. It seemed that Uchiha Madara had used similar means to manipulate enemies when invading the Celestial Dragon's palace. But Xiao Shu could also do it. Isn't that a devil fruit ability? The two brothers' expressions turned ugly, but they were still powerful figures in their own right. Without hesitation, they raised their Gatling guns. Go to hell. Bang, 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 bang. The next second, a rain of bullets poured down like a violent storm. Lan Ji Duo Ao and Zhu Feng Duo Lo were truly blood brothers, even their names were similar. Lan and Zhu Feng actually meant something similar. The two Gatling machine guns, each with nearly 1,000 bullets, fired all their ammunition in just 10 seconds, creating a hurricane-like attack. The violent rain of bullets almost instantly covered their subordinates, as well as Xiao Shu and Robin. We're in trouble. Robin's face changed drastically. The flower fruit is highly effective against certain beings, but its defense is quite weak. She herself is just an ordinary person. If she gets hit by these bullets, she will die. But the next second, she saw a hand grabbing her body. It was Xiao Shu. Bang, 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 bang. The smoke from the bullets filled the air, obscuring their vision. The violent rain of bullets almost completely destroyed the rear deck in just a few seconds. How about that? Are they dead now? Lan Ji Duo Ao and Zhu Feng Duo La gasped for breath. The recoil from firing nearly 1,000 rounds also took a toll on them. However, the next second, their expressions froze. Xiao Shu had a smiling Robin in his arms, unharmed. How is this possible? That was my death Gatling. Nothing is impossible. Xiao Shu had a proud smile on his face. This mindless attack is a curse for those unfortunate enough to not have the Sharingan. The Crimson Sharingan spun. The next second, Lan Ji Duo Ao and Zhu Feng Duo Lo were completely engulfed in endless darkness. Robin's eyes were filled with shock. This guy is actually this strong? Just now, in that storm of bullets, he held onto her as if they were dancing, effortlessly dodging them. Not to mention getting injured, their clothes weren't even damaged in the slightest. 10 seconds, 1,000 rounds of bullets, all completely useless. Alright, let's go. Xiao Shu let go of his hand that was holding Robin's slender waist, smiled, and said. Go? Where are we going? Robin instinctively paused. Of course, we're going to find my brother. Xiao Shu revealed a gentle smile. Aren't you supposed to be my brother's subordinate? Robin. Did I just jump out of the frying pan and into the fire? Walking on the road in Hanabaru, Xiao Shu walked ahead while Robin obediently followed behind. However, those beautiful big eyes kept scanning the surroundings. Damn it, how can I escape? Based on Xiao Shu's display of strength just now, there's no way I can escape. And I even pretended to be Uchiha Madara's subordinate, and now his brother wants to take me to see the boss. An anxious expression appeared on Robin's face. Although she had been wandering and hiding for a long time, she really had never had any interaction with someone of Uchiha Madara's level. He's too powerful. If anything goes wrong, she won't even be able to run. What should I do? Robin was full of anxiety. Meanwhile, Xiao Shu in front continued walking, subconsciously glancing at his own hand. He had just touched Robin's waist. It was soft, smooth, and slender. It just so happened that he needed someone who could be resourceful and understand the market to help him buy things. Robin came at the right time. Not only is she pleasing to the eye, but she can also be useful. So, what's next? I'll see how I can deceive her. A barely noticeable smile appeared at the corner of Xiao Shu's mouth. Robin followed Xiao Shu as they turned left and right, quickly arriving at a common house. Xiao Shu was the first to enter, and Robin hesitated for a moment before following. Uchiha Madara was someone who surpassed that naive existence. She had no way to escape. Since she couldn't escape, she could only take a gamble. Gritting her teeth, she walked through the door and sure enough, immediately saw that legendary figure. Wearing crimson armor, with long pitch-black hair and a rebellious look in his eyes. Uchiha Madara. It was this man who single-handedly infiltrated Mariajoy and even resisted 3 admirals, making it impossible for the Marines to stop him. Sometimes Robin couldn't help but marvel at how good it would be if she had Uchiha Madara's power. Then Ohara wouldn't have been destroyed by the Marines' buster call. Why is there someone else? Uchiha Madara, clone, raised his head proudly, glanced at Robin, and then turned to ask Xiao Shu, little brother, who is she? Isn't she your subordinate? Xiao Shu smiled, his mouth curved, and said, I was curious. When did you have a subordinate that I didn't know about, big brother? Subordinate? Uchiha Madara narrowed his eyes. Then, a chilling aura suddenly burst out. In an instant, Robin felt as if she had fallen into an icy cave. Her legs and hands became extremely stiff, making it difficult for her to move. So this is the power of Uchiha Madara. Hello, my name is Nico Robin, the devil's child with a bounty of 79 million. I had no choice but to borrow your reputation. In fact, your reputation alone is enough to intimidate the insignificant. She explained the misunderstanding, expressing objectivity and even a hint of flattery. Robin is still Robin after all. Even in a dangerous situation, she remains articulate and calm. After explaining the misunderstanding, she immediately presents her biggest selling point. I can read ancient texts. If you need it, I can help you find ancient weapons. To ensure that Uchiha Madara understands the power of ancient weapons, Robin specifically explains, ancient weapons existed in ancient times and are 3 weapons with the title of God that can destroy the world. If you want revenge against the celestial dragons, ancient weapons are a rare source of assistance. Robin was also fooled by the Marines. She actually thought Uchiha Madara had a grudge against the celestial dragons. Ancient weapons? Uchiha Madara's eyes showed a hint of disdain. Are they strong? How do they compare to the 10 tails? Robin is not familiar with the 10 tails, but she explains, I'm not very familiar with the power of ancient weapons either, but according to records, the Pluton is said to be the most powerful battleship in shipbuilding history. It was once built by the 7 water capitals and can destroy an island with a single shot. Destroy an island with a single shot? Uchiha Madara's eyes showed a trace of curiosity. Yes. Robin nodded. Unfortunately, woman, I don't need that thing. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly. Robin was taken aback, then immediately said, with your status, you are already in opposition to the world government. Ancient weapons would definitely be your best assistance. A single strike that can destroy an island. But I can also destroy an island with a single strike. Uchiha Madara sneered. It seems that ancient weapons don't have much significance. Upon hearing this, Robin's mouth slightly opened, unable to find the right words to say for a while. If his own power is already comparable to that of ancient weapons, why bother pursuing the power of ancient weapons? Woman, the crime of deceiving my brother is quite serious. Uchiha Madara suddenly straightened up, his eyes crimson, and a murderous aura filled the air. You? Robin swallowed her saliva. Could it be that I will meet my end today? So be it. I'm tired of running away. Let it end. Robin closed her eyes in despair. You can become my brother's concubine. If you can bear the child of the Uchiha clan, I will spare your life. Wait a minute. Something seems off. Concubine? Heir? Robin has been on the run since the age of 8 and is now 19. She has survived in various places for a full 11 years and believes she has experienced a lot. But, upon hearing Uchiha Madara's words, she couldn't help but feel a little panicked. Brother. Xiao Shu frowned at the words. What's wrong? When a man grows up, he should get married, and when a woman grows up, she should get married. She has committed a crime in our hands. It's rare for her not to pay any price and just want to leave. Uchiha Madara narrowed his eyes, revealing a hint of fierceness. At this moment, Robin finally realized that the man in front of her was not someone she could negotiate with. I think love and such things should still depend on one's own will. Xiao Shu shook his head. It's okay, love is love, and heirs are heirs. Uchiha Madara waved his hand. There are only you and me left in the Uchiha clan. Don't you want to revive the clan? Well, of course I do. Don't you think this woman is not pretty enough? Doesn't she meet your taste? Well, it's not that. Then listen to me. Uchiha Madara said without any room for disagreement. An elder brother is like a father. Why don't you two get it done now? As soon as these words came out, Robin's face turned red. What's going on? Why does it feel like she's being taken away by a rich landlord? Suppressing her younger brother first, Uchiha Madara turned his head to look at Robin again. Woman, your strength is not bad, and your figure is acceptable. You can barely match my younger brother. If you can really give birth to an heir for my Uchiha clan, I don't mind helping you with any wishes you have. Of course, if you refuse to comply to the death. Uchiha Madara sneered. Then I'll grant your wish. What kind of granting is that? There's no need to say more, it's clear. Robin bit her lip. The situation changed too quickly, and even she found it a bit hard to accept. But, if she could use Uchiha Madara's power to collect the historical text faster, would it be worth it? But she absolutely refuses to give up her body for it. She can sacrifice her life for the historical text, but not her body. As for giving birth to an heir, that's even a joke. But before she could grit her teeth and speak, Xiao Shu said, Brother, you're too domineering. I'm not like those celestial dragons who forcefully take away common women. How could I be like what you said? It seemed that mentioning the hatred toward celestial dragons, Uchiha Madara fell silent for a moment. What do you want to do then? Should we kill her? Uchiha Madara looked at Robin. Robin's heart tightened. Why kill her? We don't have any grudges against her. Xiao Shu shook his head. By the way, we just got something. Let her sell it first. I don't understand the market price anyway. As for the heir, let's talk about it later. He waved his hand and said, who knows, maybe we'll really start to like each other in the future. If we can't stand each other after spending some time together, then it can only be said that it's not meant to be. Uchiha Ban fell silent, and after a moment, he nodded. Alright, you're my little brother, so I'll listen to you this time. Upon hearing these words, Robin finally breathed a sigh of relief. She couldn't help but give a grateful glance to Xiao Shu, who had helped her solve the situation. However, she didn't see the satisfaction in Xiao Shu's eyes. Indeed, having a disguise is convenient. In his previous life, Xiao Shu knew a term called Stockholm Syndrome. In reality, the reason for this phenomenon is that while one oppresses you, they also secretly give you certain benefits. Although Xiao Shu didn't have the intention of training Robin, with Uchiha Madara, the big boss, pressuring her from the front, and Xiao Shu comforting and consoling her from behind, it was easy for Robin to have the misconception that Xiao Shu is a good person, and Xiao Shu is on my side. Naturally, it was easy for her to develop feelings for him. After all, Uchiha Madara himself had the attribute of being a brokon, and was also fighting for the family, so it wasn't strange for him to say such things. Now that he had Robin, Xiao Shu felt relaxed. He took out the treasures he had stolen from the sky and the treasures from the ship of the Hurricane Brothers that he had just defeated, and took Robin to find a merchant to trade with. Robin's eyes almost popped out when she saw these treasures. There were too many. How could there be so many? Did you rob Mariajoy? Oh, it seems they did attack Mariajoy. Xiao Shu naturally took advantage of the opportunity and let Robin choose a treasure as a gift, but unfortunately, Robin was still very cautious and disciplined in her heart, so she ultimately didn't accept it. There's no need to say much about bargaining with the merchant. Women are naturally good at bargaining, and in front of the archaeologist Robin, there was no possibility of the treasures being undervalued by the merchant. In the end, they made a deal and gained 6.1 billion berries, far exceeding Xiao Shu's estimate of 5 billion. And this was still with a discount because it was pirate loot, and the Hannibal merchant wasn't very strong, so they couldn't offer much cash even if they joined forces. Xiao Shu squinted his eyes as the three of them walked on the road. Now, how do we exchange the money for devil fruits? Suddenly, Xiao Shu's pupils contracted, and then he made a small, inconspicuous move. Uchiha Madara's clone immediately stopped in his tracks, exuding a strong killing intent. Come out, do I still need to call you? Of course, not. A slightly hoarse voice sounded, and a man wearing a loose coat slowly walked out. When he took off his hat and coat, Robin, who was following behind, couldn't help but exclaim. Monkey D. Dragon? With his red patterned tattoo, sharp black short hair, and elongated eyes, there was a hint of sharpness in his gaze. The world's most dangerous criminal, Monkey D. Dragon. Dragon's voice was hoarse and magnetic. When I first heard that someone could rival the strength of 5 admirals, I thought the news was wrong. It seems that I was the one mistaken. He squinted his eyes, staring at Uchiha Madara. It was the first time. Even from such a distance, he was easily spotted. Robin's expression tightened. Dragon. This man was just as dangerous as Uchiha Madara. He grew stronger with his ideals of freedom, overthrowing dozens of kingdoms in succession, and becoming the #1 criminal of the world government. But there weren't many who had actually seen him. Does the Revolutionary Army have something to do with me? Uchiha Madara's voice remained proud as he calmly looked at Dragon's figure. Dragon raised an eyebrow and laughed. Nothing much. I just wanted to see what kind of person could make the Marines look foolish, unable to even figure out who stole the celestial gold from the sky. Celestial gold? Robin's face changed. So the thing she was smuggling was celestial gold. No wonder it could be sold at such a high price. And it was obvious why Dragon was here, among the merchants. Seemingly understanding Robin's thoughts, Dragon smiled and said, as revolutionaries, we also need funds. He was acknowledging Robin's thoughts. So, now that you've seen it for yourself, what do you want to do? Uchiha Madara asked calmly. Dragon smiled. Of course, I want to invite you brothers to join the revolution. He said candidly, you have a grudge against the celestial dragons, and the Revolutionary Army is also against them. From this perspective, we have a common language. Xiao Shu. Very well, another person fooled by Marine's information. But this was exactly what Xiao Shu had expected. Smiling, Dragon directly said, I want to invite you brothers to join the Revolutionary Army. In fact, Dragon had been paying attention to Uchiha Madara for a long time. Or rather, everyone on this sea would notice the man in front of them. Elusive, incredibly powerful, and suddenly rising. Dragon had already decided to win over Uchiha Madara, but now it had become Uchiha Madara and his brothers. That Xiao Shu is not weak either. Why hasn't Marine mentioned his strength? Dragon squinted his eyes. Although Xiao Shu's reaction speed was slightly slower than Uchiha Madara's, pretending, it was still much faster than the demon child next to him. Clearly, he had some strength. But why hadn't Marine mentioned his strength in their intelligence? Little did Dragon know, Marine's information about Xiao Shu was still at the stage when Xiao Shu first appeared and worked to buy Uchiha Madara's armor. A powerful individual who even needed to work to buy a suit of armor? Did such a person exist in the world of pirates? Facing Dragon's words, Uchiha Madara fell silent for a moment before saying, we brothers. Yes, Dragon nodded. Uchiha Madara fell silent for a moment and finally nodded. In the past, I had 5 brothers. In the past? Dragon and Robin were taken aback. Yes, now only Xiao Shu is left. The other brothers were torn apart when they were very young, Uchiha Madara said calmly, so no matter what happens, I will protect this brother. At any cost. The undeniable tone in his words revealed his determination. But to Dragon and Robin's ears, it automatically transformed into. Indeed, the Avenger Uchiha Madara has a great grudge against the celestial dragons. Yes, they regarded the people who killed Uchiha Madara's brothers as celestial dragons. Taking advantage of the situation, Dragon said, then you should join the Revolutionary Army. Our greatest goal is to overthrow the corrupt world ruled by the celestial dragons and ensure that every child can live in a safe and healthy environment. Uchiha Madara fell silent for a moment and finally nodded. Alright, I'll join. Dragon finally showed a smile. Beside them, Xiao Shu finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally led Dragon onto the path of Senju Hashirama. From a certain perspective, Long and Senju Hashirama are quite similar. They are both leaders who establish new forces and both have a heart for ordinary people, constantly striving for their sake. Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama can be considered rivals and friends at the same time. It can be said that having a character similar to Senju Hashirama can greatly help Xiao Shu improve the authenticity of Uchiha Madara. Of course, Long and Senju Hashirama are completely different in specific details. After all, they are two different people, but it doesn't matter, Xiao Shu can guide him. The Sharingan itself has the ability to perceive and hypnotize. During Kakashi's battle against Zabuza, he deliberately guided Zabuza's mental activities. Although it is a bit dangerous to use genjutsu on Long, paying attention to the opponent's subtle movements, inferring their psychology, and making changes oneself to influence the opponent's words. The final result can still be achieved. In response to Uchiha Madara's statement, "My brothers died when they were very young," Long naturally said, "We revolutionaries must protect children." It's similar to the lines Senju Hashirama used when trying to win over Uchiha Madara back then. As a result, Uchiha Madara naturally joined in, fitting perfectly with his character. Naturally, the authenticity has greatly improved. Host. Xiao Shu. Character templates possessed. 1. Uchiha Madara, 74%. 2. Saitama, 63%. In a short period of time, with a small act, the authenticity has increased by 3%. This is quite difficult to achieve considering the current difficulty level. Xiao Shu looked at Uchiha Madara and Long, who had already decided to go to the Revolutionary Army headquarters, and shrugged. The bonds on Uchiha's side are basically complete, although some are a bit forced, but as for Saitama. Xiao Shu fell silent for a moment and shook his head. There's only one disciple, Genos, for the bonds, but where can I find a robot like him? As Xiao Shu, he could create one himself, after all, he had the Shira Path's machinery. But the problem is, Xiao Shu's older brother, Uchiha Madara, is a wanted criminal. How about making Frankie his disciple? Xiao Shu couldn't help but sink into deep thought. Baldigo, the island of white soil. It is an island full of yellow sand and scattered rocks, with very poor soil, and sandstorms blowing all year round. The buildings here are mostly rooms that resemble caves or stone houses, giving the impression of a revolutionary base from a past life. However, as Xiao Shu and the others followed Long, they saw many residents living here, all with happy smiles on their faces. It seems like the people here are living a good life. Robin squinted his eyes and thought to himself. The land is barren, far inferior to other countries, but the smiles on people's faces and the meat in the baskets of housewives on the roadside prove the situation here. Obviously, the governance of the revolutionaries towards the people is much better than that of the aristocrats of the world government. Here is the base of the revolutionaries, as well as their stronghold. This time, he directly brought Uchiha Madara and the others who had just joined, and came here together. The scenery along the way seems to be proving to this revolutionary leader that what he said is not false, and this is indeed a place where children can gradually grow. As they walked all the way, they entered a building that resembled a kiln, and Long also showed a smile. "Welcome to our revolutionary family." Robin squinted his eyes. "Is this the legendary territory of the Revolutionary Army?" "It seems quite good. Leader." A person wearing headphones and a hat shaped like a dog came over. "Who are they?" "Terry Gildo. This is Uchiha Madara. This is his younger brother Xiao Shu, and this one is the son of a demon. They have decided to join our revolutionary family." Long smiled and introduced. "Uchiha Madara?" The high-ranking officials around them all looked over. Uchiha Madara nodded slightly. He was not a gentle person to begin with, and he seemed somewhat arrogant. As a newly established political entity, the Revolutionary Army naturally has many high-ranking officials. For example, Terry Gildo, who asked the question, is the intelligence control officer of the Revolutionary Army base. In addition, there are the commanders of the Four-Sided Army and the G Army, and many other high-ranking officials. Most of the people present can be considered high-ranking officials, and they also gave face to the people Long brought, coming over to greet them. Unfortunately, although Uchiha Madara has a leader's temperament, his expression is terrifying and his character is arrogant. Even if he has a gentle heart, he will not easily show it. Naturally, it is difficult to have a good impression of him at first sight. This kind of thing can only be taken slowly in the future. As newcomers who have just joined the Revolutionary Army, Xiao Shu and the others naturally begin to learn the ideals of the revolutionaries. Just like during the War of Resistance, didn't our soldiers also have to learn the spirit of Marxism? It's just that As Xiao Shu looked through the revolutionary ideals that Long had barely organized, the more he read, the more strange his expression became. Looking at what was written above, labor is the foundation of human society's existence and development. However, at present, people's productivity is being wasted by the aristocrats, which is an insult and denial of the people. People must first eat, drink, live, and dress before they can engage in politics, science, art, and so on. That the aristocrats are born to live off the exploitation of others, which is unreasonable. People are bound by the aristocrats in various ways and cannot obtain the freedom they desire. Xiao Shu carefully looked at it and basically saw the things that Marquis Whiskers had. What kind of labor is means of production? Of course, the words summarized by Dragon General would definitely not use these terms from another world, but the general idea is the same. Upon closer inspection, the summarized ideology is also much simpler and more concise. This is a pirate version of old Marxism. Of course, Dragon General is much stronger than Marquis Whiskers. Although Marquis Whiskers has summarized a lot of things, he is only summarizing, while Dragon General has truly taken action and has already begun to shake the world government. Xiao Shu looked at the 2 or 3 pages of paper in his hand and couldn't help but touch his chin. Yes, only 2 or 3 pages. After all, pirates are all doers, and they don't pay much attention to ideology, it's all rough. But the things on these 2 or 3 pages of paper almost shook the enemy, the world government, to the point where even Robin felt despair. What's wrong, can't you understand? Robin was beside him, smiling gently. Naturally, she also received a copy of Dragonism to watch. Although the text inside was difficult to read, it couldn't stump her as an archaeologist. But even she couldn't help but be amazed by the rich content inside. Even a bit envious. At least in that world, Ohara shouldn't have been destroyed. It's normal not to understand. In fact, many revolutionaries don't understand it very well, Dragon said with a light laugh. But the direction of our efforts is the same. We are all fighting for the revolution. Now, he was not only entertaining Uchiha Madara and Xiao Shu, but also Robin. After the destruction of Ohara, Robin had been constantly on the run, while also striving to find the true history and resist the world government. Dragon had once publicly praised Robin's actions, and the Revolutionary Army even called her the Lamp of Revolution. They had searched for her traces before, but unfortunately, they had only just met now. At least in the meeting hall just now, the attitude of the Revolutionary Army's high level towards Robin was better than the arrogant attitude of Uchiha Madara. However, looking at the smile on Robin's lips, Xiao Shu's mouth twitched. What do you think I am? I am a man who has come out of the new century. What should Dragon and Robin do with their Dragonism, show off? Xiao Shu made it clear that he didn't want to talk to them and threw a bunch of books like Mao Zedong Thought, Deng Xiaoping Theory, and Leninist Thought at Dragon and Robin. Xiao Shu spoke up and launched an attack. Dragon and Robin suffered fatal injuries, HP -9999. How can the newly developed basic Marxisms withstand various ideologies developed on its foundation? Although Dragon can also create his own system, many aspects are still just ideas and not in-depth. For hostile politicians, it is easy to refute their system. But the answer Xiao Shu gave was flawless. Dragon was instantly stunned. He leaned on the table with both hands, his ears perked up, and Xiao Shu's words echoed in his mind. He seemed to see a brilliant path right in front of him. Even Robin couldn't help but open her mouth, full of astonishment. She was an archaeologist, and her understanding ability goes without saying. After seeing the concept of the dragon, she could understand its content at the first moment and even achieve a certain level of integration. But Xiao Shu, he had already started expanding on the concept of the dragon? And every sentence was so perfect. Who is this person? The dragon was overwhelmed by Xiao Shu, completely immersed in the theoretical research he provided, unable to extricate himself. Perhaps after a period of time, he would be able to summarize a set of new dragonism that conforms to the world view of pirates. But for now, he could only temporarily give Xiao Shu and the others the freedom to act, and consider other things later. And Xiao Shu, with no care in the world, took Robin, his mistress, around. Although Baldigo Island itself had nothing interesting to see, as the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army, there were still many curious things. For example, a girl with purple hair, wearing sunglasses and holding a flag, stood on a high place and shouted. You guys can't even do a mere 1,000 push-ups? If you can't even make this level of effort, how will you defeat the enemy? Do you want to watch your brothers and sisters continue to be humiliated by those noble scum? Tell me, What should we do, you worthless trash? The group of boys and girls below heard her words and seemed to be filled with a surge of power from somewhere in their bodies, shouting. Of course, we should continue training. Then, they started working hard, even though they were already covered in sweat, their push-ups were as fast as the wind. What's that? Robin squinted her eyes. The power of the Inspire fruit, Xiao Shu smiled. As long as the user waves the flag and shouts, they can unleash the hidden power within their body. That girl, who would later become the captain of the Revolutionary Army's East Army, Bello Betty. Of course, the main reason Xiao Shu remembered her limited appearances was, when Bello Betty appeared, she wasn't wearing any underwear. Xiao Shu just confirmed it, she really wasn't wearing any.